All right, good morning once again. This is Crossfire. Crossfire is your favorite program on TV where we discuss political issues and where we look at and analyze the goings on in the society. I mean, our show is so balanced because it's educative. We bring in current and trending news and we discuss them on this show just to let Nigerians really know exactly what is happening. And so our platform is open to as many people who really want to come and you believe that you have something to tell Nigerians. And that is why all the time we try as much as possible to bring about issues that are very hot in the corridor of power, about elections, and every aspect of the economy. And on our special today, we will be taking you through a couple of information and news, trending, and probably perspective and opinions of people on some issues that are already making headline news. And I mean, I want to welcome you once again. My name is Dapo Banjo, and I have with me on the show my co-anchor, Isioma, Agha, Ineh.
Good morning, Nigerians, and you're welcome to the show. Yesterday you said you had a nickname for me or something.
Yeah, but it wasn't a nickname.
Just keep it to yourself anyway.
It wasn't a nickname. I eventually said it, but, you know, I allowed you to cool off before, you know, mentioning the name. But even our guest picked, you know, that I actually used that name. I'll tell you later in secret. Anyway, this is our Wednesday special on Crossfire. Crossfire can be seen and viewed on channel 196 on Star Times, and our program is always 9 to 10, and then we have a rerun later in the evening between 7:30 and 8:30 every day. All right, on our show today, we have a couple of activities, and we know that this will interest you a great deal. We said 2 days ago on the show, I mean, particularly on Monday, and we were able to let you know that our platform is now open to only the two popular parties in Nigeria, that this platform is open to all other political parties. And so we'll be taking you through a list of all the candidates and their running mates that will be participating come March the 28th presidential elections. And then tomorrow we'll be taking you through all the people who are going to be doing, I mean, who have already emerged as candidates for the gubernatorial elections across Nigeria. All right, so we will go on the show immediately. Isioma, like, I mean, we have been advocating peace come, you know, March the 28th, as we approach the polls, our watchword, and I've been, you know, we've been trying to work on the pledge for Crossfire. We would come up with a pledge. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be, you know, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to participate in the forthcoming election with all my, you know, with all my strength and peacefully, and you know, and like that. So we're working on that, and when it is ready, we'll bring it very hot to every one of us. All right. So, but before
we're also hoping our viewers can also participate. And how can you participate? You can just take a simple video of yourself pledging to peace, and also sending it to us on our Twitter handles.
All right. Now you will see all the information about our social media scrolling on the screen. So be a part of the show. Every time when we're not on here, every time when you're not on air, I mean, when we're not here, you can actually follow us on all our social media platforms. And then when we're on air, you can call into the show and make your thoughts known. All right. The first thing we should do, as planned, is to quickly take one or two stories that are making headlines. I mean, Jega yesterday, I mean, declared, or Ineh, let me put it that way, said that 75.94% of total PVCs have already been distributed. This is what Ineh is claiming. And for me, out of about approximately 70 million Nigerians who are eligible voters, they are eligible not because I am not because you are not, but they registered and they are expected to be able to have their PVC with them. Now, Ineh is saying that 52...
But look, see, I strongly believe this figure, 75.94%, is wrong.
Why?
I stand corrected, but I think this is not accurate.
Of the registered voters,
I know.
70 million.
I know. Now, I was discussing with someone yesterday, and the person was complaining bitterly that himself and the PVC of himself and his wife and 2 of the kids, they actually registered. They didn't register in Lagos. They registered outside. And what they did was they applied for their PVCs to be sent down. Now, the PVCs were actually prepared over there. They sent it down, and it's gone missing. Who has taken it? Who is in cost? Who has the custody of the PVC
Is it missing
now?
in transition between where they registered and sending it to them
But
in
now
Lagos?
it's in possession of someone else who is not supposed to be the authorized owner of the PVC.
Yeah, but don't you think that
So you see that these are some of the issues here, because we've received feedbacks from people saying, they've been pushing me here and they're tossing me up and down. I've not gotten my PVC. I've not gotten this. I've not gotten that. But at the end of the day now, you see that the PVC has fallen into the hands of miscreants who on that day would use it to rig. And we've also seen how some people are pushing and clamoring that the card reader shouldn't be used.
Now, but
for what purpose?
But for me, I think a lot of people, especially the opposition party, have been saying that the use of the card reader is very, very important.
Yes, it is. Because that's the only way you can detect.
So if we have, I don't see any reason why INEC will want to yield to some school of thought saying that the card readers should not be used.
That was how the election postponement started.
And I actually wanted to find out. I actually wanted to find out about the card reader. So I went, in search of information, and I come to find out that the card reader have your biometric data.
Of course it does.
Information. The card reader can actually function for 14 good hours. It's battery powered, and it can function for 14 good hours. Exactly. And that they even have backup battery given to them in case, I think it's even backup reader. The card reader with a battery as backup. So in case, and don't forget, the accreditation is supposed to take between 3 to 4 hours if everything arrives in good time and people come out to do their accreditation. And the election process itself is not supposed to be more than 4 hours. So we have a machine that can withstand whatever pressure that you are going to subject it to. So I don't see any reason why INEC should not insist or should probably be bending or thinking or assuming that there may not be need for the card readers.
He's insisted that they're going to go ahead and use it, because the truth is, I have, let me be fair, I have 80% faith in the card reader that if we use these card readers properly, to an extent we'll have credible elections. I mean,
for all the electoral officers, if you put in the card reader and it's not giving you the information,
yes, not matching,
tallying, I mean, you disqualify the person immediately, and the process will be free and fair.
No, my issue now
you can even get the person arrested. I mean, what are you doing here with a card that is not yours?
That is not yours.
That makes the elections more credible, more free and fair. And that's why, I mean, on this platform, we are still saying, INEC, if you can hear us, and as many people who are close to INEC who can hear us, please, we want the card readers. It will eliminate as many possible attempts, to rig the elections. Because,
but this is not just about us. Understand that it's also about Nigerians and the future of Nigerians. And we believe Nigerians want a peaceful, more coordinated transition to another government. So if these card readers will give that to us, then go ahead with it.
All right. I believe it's going to do it, and that was why I went, to just find out what is this card the card reader all about. And I find out that INEC has done their homework very well, and that card has the capacity and the ability to be able, to ensure that at least electronically we can make the elections free and fair. Okay. All right. Anyway, we still want to use this platform to to encourage as many people who have not picked up their PVCs that you should go all out, do everything that you can. The deadline for March collection 8th. Is still March the 8th, 2015, and that's just a few days away from the election, about 20 days away from the elections itself. So you have enough time. I mean, today is the 18th of February, so you still have a lot of time. Just make out time from the office, from your business, just a few hours. Go there and ensure that you pick your PVC. Your vote is your right, and we believe that you should.
And do not just pick your PVC and drop it in your wallet or your bag. Also ensure you use it on the day of the election to vote. And vote right. Do not let anyone cajole you to vote to someone other than your choice.
All right. Anyway, let's quickly take this other one. I mean, a few days ago, you know, precisely on the 12th, and then the news made headlines on the 13th. You know, I mean, precisely on the 9th, and then the news made headline on the 10th that elections have been postponed till, you know, March the 28th and 11th of April, respectively, for both the presidential and the gubernatorial elections. And today, the 18th day, like well over 1 week after the postponement of the elections, the Senate is inviting Jega to come and explain, you know, why the polls were being postponed. I
mean, we expected that they should have, you know, his appearance before the Senate should have been done like the next day after the announcement.
I expected that.
Like they should
have even invited him, or he should have probably written the Senate telling them that we have cogent reasons and we want to defend it with the Senate why the election should be postponed. And then everybody will look at it, knowing fully well that the Senate is a representation of all the state of the Federation, everybody, of the people of Nigeria. And then they can decide and say, okay, you have good reasons for the elections to be postponed, and based on that, we are giving you the support. And so all this agitation will not be...
You agree with me now that there are so many irregularities and, you know, flagrant misbehaviors going on at all facets.
Anyway, don't forget that what we're going to be, you know, our major, you know, focus today is, was the election postponement premeditated or it was calculated? You know, we're going to be looking at that. Was it calculated or was it premeditated, or it was something that just happened by, you know, by the hand of God? Is it the hand of God that this election is being, you know, postponed, or it was actually calculated, premeditated? And then we'll be looking at events, you know, that actually happened before the, you know, before the postponement of the elections. All right, you know, still come back to, you know, to Jega. I believe very strongly that the INEC, they are trying. And the issue in the country today can be very overwhelming.
Even though INEC defaulted, I know. If we decide to score INEC right now, we will know also that they faulted in some areas, particularly as regards late distribution of PVCs. But aside the late distribution of PVCs, on the other hand, I think they've done fairly, not 100% though, but let's say 60% they've done well.
Okay.
To an extent.
Now, before we go on our break, let's quickly take this because we have well enough things to discuss, you know, after our first break, and that's to quickly run again all the parties that have been accredited by INEC participating in the forthcoming elections. There are 14 of them, and all of them have been accredited. They have candidates, they have running mates, and all of them will be showing up at the polls. All right. We have 14 of them in all, like we said, aside from, I mean, in addition to, you know, the incumbent president of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and then the main opposition party, which is the APC, that is being championed by, you know, retired General Muhammadu Buhari, and his running mate is, you know, SAN, Yemi Osinbajo. But let's quickly do a rundown of a couple of the, candidates and their running mates. All right. Okay,
for the People's Party of Nigeria, PPN, the nominee is Alagoa Chinedu, and his running mate is Arabame Mary.
All right, we have the whole party. The whole party, have their presidential candidate as Ambrose Owuru, and the running mate is Haruna Shaba.
And for the African People's Alliance, APA, the aspirant is Ayeni Adebayo, and the running mate is Anthony Ologboshere.
All right, we have the United Progressive Party, UPP. The presidential candidate is Chekwas Okorie, and then we have the running mate as Bello Umar.
For COA Party, which the acronym is COA, the aspirant is Comfort Shonaya, while the running mate is Seidu Boboy. All right,
Allied Congress Party of Nigeria, ACPN, the presidential candidate is Ganiyu Galadima, and the running mate is Ojengbede Farida.
And for the United Democratic Party, UDP, the aspirant is Godson Okoye, while the running mate is Haruna Adamu.
Okay, we have the ADC, that's the African Democratic Congress. The party candidate is Mani Hamed, and the running mate is Obianiju Murphy Izowe.
And for the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the aspirant is incumbent President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, while the running mate is Namadi Sambo.
All right, Martin Onovo is the candidate running on the platform of the National Conscience Party, and his running mate is Ibrahim Mohammed on the NCP platform.
Yeah, but I think at this point we have to go on a quick break. And after the break, we'll take it up from there and we'll give you the names of the other aspirants. Stay tuned. You're welcome back, and this is still Crossfire. We were actually, before we went on the short break, we were taking a rundown of all the political parties which will be participating in the forthcoming general elections, and we're also giving you a breakdown of all the aspirants for the elections. So while we stopped, let's just take it up from there, Dapo. Who else do you have next on your list?
All right, we have Muhammadu Buhari and his running mate is Yemi Osinbajo contesting on the platform of the All Progressive Congress, APC.
And I have here for the Alliance for Democracy, AD, the aspirant is Rufus Salawu and his running mate is Akuche Cliff.
All right, we have Sam Eke as the presidential candidate running on the platform of the CPP, Citizens Popular Party, and his running mate is Hassana Atan. Or Hassana Atan.
Hassana Hassan. And I have here for the Accord Alliance, AA, double A, that's nice. Yeah. And the aspirant is Tunde Anifowoshe Kelani, and his running mate is Ishaka Ofemile.
All right, that's all for all the 14 presidential candidates and their running mates and all the platforms that they will be representing at the polls. It is very, very instructive that we all get used to some of these parties because, I mean, as we approach the polls, you'll be seeing a long list of candidates and you need to know what they stand for and who they are and all of that.
Particularly their symbol also.
Exactly.
You need to know their symbol also. So just in case on the day of the election and you see that symbol, you know, okay, so this is this party, this is this party.
I mean, because we need to know that this election is not about the umbrella and the broom only. We have a lot of all the symbols for all the other parties, and I believe very strongly that we should get used to some of these symbols, and it will help us a great deal as we approach the polls. All right, like we said, we'll be looking at a very important topic today, and that is to give you a rundown of all the activities that precipitated into the postponement of the elections from February 14th to the new date which we have right now. I mean, that's from February 14th and the 28th of February to actually witness the presidential elections and the gubernatorial election. Now it's been shifted to March the 28th and April the 11th. Now, a lot of activities actually, happened. Things that were said, things that were done, and I believe very strongly that this show will help you really, to see all the build-up, before the elections. And when our phone lines are open, we want to know your thoughts. Was it premeditated, or it just happened by chance? It just happened, or the postponement just evolved based on all the issues that were on ground, or it was particularly orchestrated and patterned and shaped before it was announced. All right, the prospect of the elections originally scheduled to commence on the 14th of February 2015 being shifted came in whispers from the middle of January as some stakeholders argued, against the elections on the basis of the twin problem. It was based on the twin problem of lack of preparedness on the part of Ineh and then the insurgency in the northeastern part of Nigeria. Now, Isioma,
I have an issue. I have an issue about the clamor. I mean, you can't come out and speak for Ineh saying Ineh they're not prepared when Ineh already told us they were prepared. It's like I want to take an exam and then someone comes and tells me, Isioma, don't take the exam because you've not prepared properly. How would you know I haven't prepared? And the honest truth is, let's be factual here. Not everybody will get their PVCs. We've said that already. I mean, look at, despite the claims for the election postponement based on security and based on INEC's lack of readiness for the elections. Has everybody gotten their PVCs at the end of the day?
No, not particularly.
No.
But Isioma, on January the 22nd in 2015, just last month, the National Security Advisor, Dazuki, advocates postponement of elections, saying INEC is not ready, but says it is for the body to decide. And
then INEC came out and said they were ready.
INEC came out and said they were ready.
They were ready.
All right. Okay. Now, immediately after, on the same day, APC, when they heard on January the 22nd that there are news, you know, trying to, pilfering around and saying that the elections should be postponed, APC came out very strongly and said, we reject the proposal. Says Dazuki was merely speaking the mind of Jonathan administration. And then, come February 2nd.
And on February 2nd, at the National Peace Committee meeting at Abuja with representatives of the different political parties and the service chiefs, they all gave their assurances, the service chiefs gave their assurances that they were all ready for the elections. But we saw also how the different political parties came up to say they were in support of the postponement of the elections.
Now, because there was a time before this meeting, about 16 parties, representatives came out and said the election should be shifted. The election should be shifted. Particularly on the 2nd of February, they had a meeting, a joint meeting, and many of them said, no, it should not be shifted. We believe that we are ready for the elections and it should go on. But barely a few days after, precisely on the 5th of February, confusion at the National Council of States meeting. After more than 6 hours of meeting, governors led by Segun Mimiko and Rochas Okorocha announced two contrary decisions of the council. It emerged that the service chiefs affirmed that they were not in position to guarantee security in the troubled Northeast.
At that point, I was
3 days after.
I was really confused at that point. If the security chiefs do not have it in their position to talk about guaranteeing security.
But at the initial stage, what Dazuki said was that PVCs, people have not gotten their PVCs. And then suddenly, it became, the twin showed up. The twin showed up, which was, with borders around security.
Preparedness and then security.
All right. Then
on February 7th, the United States of America expressed their disappointment at the election postponement. And we also saw that not only the United States of America came out to speak against it, other nations, Canada, the United Kingdom, France, they all came out to say that no, the election should have taken place. And we also here on the show, we talked about nations like Pakistan and Iran, that despite how terrible, despite the security, they had peaceful elections.
Amidst the situation in that country.
Afghanistan, they had, of course, they had worse issues, but then they were able to come together with assistance from these same big powers, and they had their elections peacefully. So we were wondering also, why couldn't that have happened in our own case in Nigeria?
Now, if the United States of America came up on the 7th, I haven't heard a few, nothing was pointing to the fact that there would be a postponement. And they stood against it very vehemently. And they told Nigeria, please, don't postpone the elections. Even the rest, the Consular General for the United States of America, he came out very strongly to say, he had a press conference and he was saying at that press conference that, please, Nigeria should just go ahead with the elections. And don't forget that on the 5th of February, all the observers, they came into the country. Yeah. They came in ahead of time. They were already here and they were moving around, having meetings and being present at press conferences just to know what was happening. And one day after, INEC, that is on February the 8th, INEC meets political parties and resident electoral commissioners, RECs, and announces postponement of general elections by 6 weeks. Very unbelievable.
Right now, as it stands, the Presidential and National Assembly polls are now to hold on March the 28th, while the governorship and the House of Assembly elections will be holding on April the 11th.
Yeah, on February 9th, mixed reactions trailed the postponement. Our opposition decree it while the ruling party claimed it was, inevitable. Why the PDP were saying, okay, there is nothing wrong about the postponement. APC was saying everything is wrong about the postponement. It shows a level of, inconsistency.
But this is not just APC clamoring now. Even
foreign nations
all the other parties. And security observers also outside, the shores of Nigeria also, they've been trying trying to put 1, 2, 3 together to see that, look, this postponement was unnecessary, except there were some hidden agendas which the government of Nigeria or whoever it was that had to hit the nail finally to cement the postponement, except if there are some hidden agendas for the postponement. But if based on security and the preparedness of Ineh, then there shouldn't have been any postponement.
Then, as a matter of fact, I really don't know, because I was not able to verify the fact that, you know, the ruling government, have approached, you know, a couple of other parties, the supposed unpopular parties, you know, to solicit their support, you know, before the elections. They needed time to have a meeting, you know, so that it will be like a unanimous or a consensus that a party, any of the, you know, unpopular parties will eventually, you know, support any of the popular parties, be it the APC or the PDP. But I heard that, you know, the ruling government has approached a couple of parties and they are telling them, why don't you just put your force and, you know, behind us and let's, and then maybe they have been promised some kind of positions or benefits and all of that. Anyway, but that's Nigerian politics for you.
If that happens.
And then, you know, well after, the British government expresses concern over postponement of elections. On February 10th, APC accuses service chief of conspiracy in postponement of elections. And then February the 11th, lawyers sued Ineh over postponement of elections. And February 11th, President Jonathan, in a live television broadcast, assures that a new government would be installed on May the 29th. I mean, that's a very, very weighty statement. You know, like I was saying, the statement was just like, if you lose the elections, what's going to happen?
It was an open statement.
Yeah, it was an open statement. And, you know, he made it bold and he said, I will hand over, you know,
come May the 29th. But now, people have been wondering. Of course, we know you will hand over.
He said, I will hand over to? I think he said, I will hand over to someone. I will hand over to someone if, you know, I lose the elections, you know, come
foreign observers, and some Nigerians are wondering. Of course, we know.
Why not say I will hand over
to the winner
of the election?
Because if you say you will hand over to a new government, that new government could be an interim military government.
Exactly, which people are actually, you know, already thinking.
We're praying that would not happen.
It will not happen.
Because that would be like taking us back to Egypt, and that's biblical Egypt now. Because the biblical Egypt was known as a place of bondage and suffering. And then look at us, a nation that we're able to pull through out of the many, you know, stages of military, you know, imposition and involvement. Now we have democracy. We shouldn't do a thing that will cause the military to come back and kill the democracy we're trying to grow.
And don't forget that, I mean, after the postponement, there have been a lot of things characterized, you know, by misgivings, by conspiracies, by assumptions, you know, because, I mean, it was because of the postponement or after the postponement that, I mean, they held a statement, former, you know, president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, actually said bye-bye, you know, to the PDP, you know, and so many other things. Also, and the issue of the card reader came up after the postponement. Before the postponement, everything was ready.
So you see.
So you can see the consequences of the postponement.
Look at the issues of pre-election violence. I mean, we've been hearing about little pockets.
And then before the elections, exactly. But after the postponement,
before the announcement of the postponement, things
violence characterized all rallies and campaigns.
But now it's gotten to another level. I mean, look at yesterday. Look at the attack at the APC, you know, rally, the supposed APC rally ground, River State. 56 people so far have been injured, and these 56 persons also include policemen also. Now, look at the situation, or look at the statement that was made in Lagos State.
You know, a few days ago.
On Monday for one policeman who is killed, 20 civilians, you know, will be also dealt
Are they already carrying out their
but my issue now is who is going to fight to ensure that the perpetrators of this incident yesterday,
and incidentally, Umbu was removed from River State.
From River State, but he was taken to Abuja. Now,
Abuja was
but now
I think Abuja was to prepare him for the work in Lagos.
Well, we don't know. Let's just assume that was part of his duties. His service duties to Nigeria.
All right, that's what we'll be discussing on the show. Was election postponement premeditated or was, I mean, it was just, a mistake. It was just something that had to happen by the hand of God. But, I mean, we have been able to take you through all the things that have been said, all actions that are taking place before the elections were finally postponed. And everything is pointing to the fact that there were so many statements that were made, and there were so many meetings that were held that pointed to INEC eventually, coming out, finally to postponing the elections. And that's why, please call us in the show. Let us know, do you think it was premeditated or it was just something that happened naturally? I know a lot of people were saying that, from the look of things, everything was just pointing to the fact that the elections may not actually happen on the, on the 14th of February. But if you look at the antecedents and all the statements and all the meetings, and all of that, I mean, for me, as an individual, I think it was calculated. It was premeditated.
But you actually wanted the postponement.
Yeah, I wanted a postponement, and that's to tell you that I still hold on to my position that it was premeditated. It was premeditated in the sense that there were so many things pointing to the fact that February 14th was not going to become a reality. We were saying, okay, about the insurgency, we were saying, okay, how sure are we that elections will take place in the Northeast, part of Nigeria? We were not so sure about, the activities of government to ensure that the internally displaced persons are adequately taken care of. Yeah. Do you know that, I mean, over the weekend, a lot of things are happening to the people that are internally displaced? There have been rape cases, there have been theft, a lot of things are happening there. It simply means even in the place where they are being kept, the camp is not even well secured. Their daughters are being raped in their very faces, even at the internal displaced persons camp. I mean, that's to tell you, and yet we are building elections around a place like that. These people have been naturally displaced by the insurgency, and now you put them in a camp that is still not safe, and we have rape cases.
No, but my issue now is...
All right, let's take this call from Imam. Good morning, Imam.
Hello?
Hello, Imam. Hello, Imam. Imam, are you there? All right, just like we've been saying,
call us back? Thank you.
The state of emergency have not been lifted in the northeast. I mean, in the northeast of Nigeria, and the internally displaced persons have not been adequately taken care of. I mean, we don't know if
another attack.
Obviously, they will not be voting in their words, but they said, okay, we'll take the words to you where you are, and then we don't have any record if internally displaced persons who are eligible to vote have their PVCs right now. We are not even sure. Don't you think that since after the postponement and the 6 weeks declaration that insurgency will be scorched and crushed, and crushed out of Nigeria, they have stepped up their activity?
We have two statements now. Okay. The first statement was Boko Haram insurgency will be ended. It will be completely annihilated. Now the second one is, well, it may not be, but it will be on the minimal.
But don't you see the tempo of the activities?
Exactly.
All right, let's take this call. Charles, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Hi,
good morning, Charles. How are you today?
I'm all right.
And how is the seat of power? How is Abuja?
Well, it's okay.
All right, please go ahead and make your contribution.
Well, I was listening to you. You were saying the postponement was premeditated.
No, we're asking.
We're asking you, what's your position? Do you think it was premeditated?
Well, the security challenges, I believe, was enough reason for the election to be postponed. And besides, the collection of the PVC, so many people started wondering how could the Northeast that was under siege would have gotten the level of collection than people in the South, where the entire area is. So all those things and the alleged compromise of Agha have been making.
So in your opinion, this was calculated, right?
No, the events that led to the postponement, you can't just sweep them under the carpet.
Okay.
You couldn't have just been swept under the carpet.
Even when we had, you know, two different statements from the service chiefs, Dazuki came up and told us everything is all right with security. And yet a few days after, we heard, you know, that that was why we went through, you know, all the things that happened before the postponement. And then they came out after to say that it's not safe again to have the elections.
No, the point of it is, when we talk about security challenges are things that you look at, weigh the options. Can we go into this election with the insurgency, with the level of threat in the Northeast?
Okay.
You understand? So when people say these things, I mean, the oppositions are just looking for flimsy excuses, looking for what to tie to a dog to give it a bad name and all this. Let's take this thing objectively.
Okay.
You understand? Nigeria belongs to all of us. Some people cannot think that this country belongs to them.
Okay.
They can wake up one morning and see power. Things don't work that way.
Charles, can I ask you a question?
Okay, I'm all here.
All right. I don't know if you've seen the video, you know, where the leader of the Boko Haram sect, Shekau, was saying they will disrupt the elections. Now, if that's what he's saying is true, and they have plans to disrupt the elections, now we don't know if that's going to be only in the Northeast or all over the country. But would you support a further postponement of the elections for security reasons?
No, nobody is even contemplating that. You see, the thing I have noticed that's happening now is that the opposition is just out to damage the reputation of the ruling party. It doesn't make sense.
But look at what Shekau has said.
I mean, anyway, thank you very much,
No,
Charles.
Shekau, you see, a drumming man will always look out for something to hold on to. That's the truth. Shekau does not exist. This man is a man that has been killed several times. Each time somebody puts on something that looks like him. Okay. So Shekau, to me, is just a fiction of the imagination of people who parade themselves as Shekau. Shekau does not exist.
All right, thank you very much, Charles. I mean,
that's your opinion.
Is very key.
Own opinion.
All right, we'll go on a short break now, and then when we come back, we will take the show to the next level. Do stay with us. All right, you are welcome back to the show. This is still Crossfire. We actually have been analyzing and we've been trying to put thoughts to a couple of things that characterize or happened shortly before the elections. And what we've been saying is that, was the election postponement calculated, as in premeditated, or it just happened based on facts and things that we could see on the ground? We really, cannot ascertain why Ineh eventually came up finally with the postponement, but a lot of statements were made, you know, and counter statements were made, meetings were held, and at a point in time, we heard everything was right, the elections can go on, and then later on, we heard, okay, the PVCs have not been, you know, distributed, a lot of people have not picked up their PVCs, and then there's insecurity problem, which we have always had. I mean, and then what we are just saying is that, does all of this add up, you know, to postponing the elections?
But in my own opinion, I mean, if you've been following the recent trends, terrorism right now has gotten to another level. It's gotten to a higher level, because before now it was Al-Qaeda, it was ISIS, it was Boko Haram, it was Al-Shabaab. But now recently we've been having the issues of independent terrorists, what I can call one-man squad.
Now, Isioma,
which is a lot much more dangerous.
In your candid opinion, as a political analyst, do you think this election will be postponed again?
I fear
the reason why I'm asking,
I fear it will.
Boko Haram have stepped up their activities. Yesterday, look at the video, the new video. Now they said they are going to attack. They are going to attack Chad. They are going to attack Niger. Yesterday, France came up and said, we will support Chad. Anybody who's going to fight Chad, we will fight the person. Now, the United States of America yesterday evening came up and said again that we will give support, intelligence support, not that we are supporting supplying arms and ammunition.
Yeah.
They said we will give intelligence support, you know, and security information to African nations. I would have expected that the activities of the Boko Haram started in Nigeria. If the USA is not, you know, trying to play politics with the Boko Haram stuff, why wouldn't they come out strong and say we will provide intelligence and security, you know, and other support, kind of support for Nigeria?
But how?
Anyway, a lot of African nations are involved in the war now. Chad, Cameroon, Niger, you know, and Benin Republic.
In as much as our security chiefs are doing all they can to fight the Boko Haram sect, they should not also be oblivious of the fact that now in the world today we're having independent terrorists. These are like one-man squad. An individual can wake up one morning and go out and begin to kill people. Under that situation, how would you be able to trace him? How would you be able to hold him down? So we want our security chiefs as well as you know, they're focusing on the Northeast, please also focus on the southern Nigeria and other parts of the nation also, our borders and our cities and towns, our villages also. Mind you, and that is why we need our security, you know, forces, particularly the police force, to be more alert, to be more sensitive. Look at the attack, you know, in Denmark. And look at the other security threats to other nations. Look at the one that was made to India, you know, a while ago.
See, suddenly,
look at Libya. Look at Libya. Look at Egypt.
I seal. I mean, a few days ago, they just stepped up, you know, their activity.
Exactly.
I mean, killing,
look
indiscriminately,
at Libya
and,
also.
you know.
And the attacks, these are individuals. And you know, it's a lot much more difficult to trace individuals because these are people who move and just scattered. So if we can't, that was why from the onset I was against the election postponement, because at that time, if the elections were held, at least we won't have gotten to the state where we are currently today.
All right, let's take this call. Good morning, Oshang. Hello, Oshang. Hello? Oshang, are you there? All right. You know, so, I mean, for me, I think, you see, virtually every aspect of the economy is suffering, you know, virtually, you know, every aspect of the economy is actually, you know, having to experience untold, you know, and unexpected, yeah, exactly, unexpected, you know, falls. The dollar is not appreciating. As at yesterday, it was 215 to a naira. I mean, that's a blow, you know, and all of that.
Worse.
And we
security
don't seem,
is there.
exactly,
also,
and
health,
security.
Health issues also. I mean, look at Ebola is still much away. It's still much on ground in Africa also. It's not been finally, you know, and look at our border system. Our borders are still porous. So these are some of the issues we need to sit down and address as a nation. And I think right now it's gone beyond political party. I believe right now for the interest of peace, for the interest of Nigerians, for saving our future generations, I believe all these political parties, be it APC, be it PDP, be it SDP or whatever, COA, they should all at this time come together, put their brains. We have intelligent and resourceful people in the nation. We have youth who are doing it, you know, making it big outside the nation. People should come together and say, let us find a lasting solution, irrespective of the political party that is in place right now. Because if anything goes wrong, we're the ones to suffer.
All right. Anyway, I mean, this is how far we can go on our show today. Our weekend, I mean, our midweek special is just a platform for us to analyze and to evaluate statements and actions and activities that are happening in Nigeria. And that's how far we will take the show today. Tomorrow, we're bringing in very, very important personalities coming to join us in the studio as we look at the state of the nation in preparation towards the 2015 elections come March the 28th and April the 11th. All right, thank you so very much, all of you who attempted to be a part of our show. We thank you. We appreciate you for being, you know, a part of our show all the time. And we want to say at this point, bye-bye and stay
And understand also that we pledge peace, and we hope also you pledge peace. Stay away from violence, and God bless you.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace.